What's up, what's on, what's happening YouTube? Welcome back to another TR7 tutorial. Today, I'm going to teach you how to tail stall. If you've found this video, I'm sure you probably know what a tail stall is, but just in case you don't, you're going to be coming up fakie, backwards up the ramp, and stalling on the tail of your board before coming back in. First things first, our foot positioning. You're going to want one foot firmly planted on the tail at the back and your other foot up by the bolts at the front. So you've still got a nice wide stance, but you've got that foot on the tail ready to push some weight into it to get it onto the coping. To start this one off, we're basically going to lay a few building blocks to build you up to where you want to be with this tail stall. So our first little building block is just learning how to get that tail onto the floor and then drop back in. So you can literally do this right down at the bottom of the ramp just by rolling up in fakie, trying to tap your tail down, but whilst you're tapping the tail down, you're keeping your weight forwards over the front foot, ready to push back down into the ramp and roll away. So it's going to look something like this. And you do have to be quite quick, just tapping the tail in and dropping straight back down. But if you get really comfortable with that motion, the tail stall on the top is going to be really easy. And the best thing about this is because you're doing it in the ramp already, you can slowly build it up higher and higher until you're right by the top, ready to give it a go on top. So I'm stood here on our mini ramp, probably the best place to learn how to tail stall because you can sort of pump yourself up and slowly build your way up to the top. Now, we've talked about doing it in the ramp with that weight over the front so you're ready to come back in and it's nice and quick. Once you've built this up enough, close enough to the top, you can try it on that coping. It's going to be a nice light touch and then coming straight back in, but if you follow that same technique we were doing before on the ramp, I think you should be able to do it fine. We're just making sure when we tap that tail, we're leaning over the front of the nose so that we're ready to push straight back down and in. Now the timing is basically waiting for you to see that tail just about reach the coping, and because you're traveling in with a little bit of speed, by the time you actually get to the coping and push, you should be able to get that tail just to tap on there and then come back in. And this is our first taste. This is what we want to do. Nice and quick. Now that you've tapped the tail on the coping, you've had your first little taste. Now, if you want to get right up onto the top so you can stand up there, the only difference between the tapping the tail on it and getting right up on top of the deck so you're stood back up here like a drop-in is a bit of extra speed. If you have a bit of extra speed, it's going to carry your weight up onto the top of the coping. You can bring your chin up to be on top of it, and that's how we're going to get up on top. But your timing, you're going to have to start going into the tail a little bit earlier because you're going a bit faster. So by the time you get into it, you'll be right in there and you'll be able to stand up on top. But it really is just a little bit of extra speed and making sure your chin comes up rather than staying over the front ready to go back in. But when you do this one, it's going to be more up on top here, so it's going to be more like a normal drop in when you go back in. Now it might all seem quite simple so far, but there is a couple of things that can go wrong with this one. It's mainly to do with the timing. If you're coming up and you go into the tail too early and you're trying to go on top, you might end up underneath the coping and that's going to shoot your weight backwards a little bit, which isn't great. Or you can leave it too late and your wheels are going to hit the coping and that might give you a bit of a weird shunt forwards, which both of these are just going to ruin your balance. So you really want to try get that timing right. A good way of getting this timing right is by practicing that tap over and over again, just trying to get it in the right spot every time. And then when you come to going up onto the top of the ramp, you should have that timing down and it'll be a lot easier to get right up there. But it really is just all about the timing. By now, hopefully I've helped you to get the hang of this tail stall. Best thing to do is obviously start on a smaller quarter. But if you start getting it on that one, take it to any different ramp you can find. Even try it on banks if you want. Wherever you fancy trying it, it's good to do because it's going to help you learn how to get onto that tail and hold it strong. But it just takes practice. Practice, practice, practice. Close. Okay, so that's tail stalls. I hope this video has helped you to get them. If it has, please leave us a like and a subscribe. If there's any other tricks that you want us to do, leave them down in the comments and we'll do a tutorial just for you. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.